on going. And if we have to do a few less laps during the weekend because we don't have money for tires, that's what we're going to do.
Sometimes it's really easy to always look at what you're doing wrong. And drifting can be a lot of strikes and gutters.
Before it was just me trying to figure it out. And now I have a teammate, and the teammate, we bounce ideas off of each other. We have a game plan going in. Like even this morning I woke up, I'm like, what do you got for notes for me? What did you learn? Like, what should I do different here?
I think Drift Week 1 was really when I got in the car really the first time. That was in the Corvette before it burned down. Luke Fink ended up giving us or selling us the G-Banger for like a great deal, and I just stepped right into that car.
I found her already had done a 240 that was already done. And that was in the year you could get one with the LS and a dog box, already done, wrapped beautiful for 20 grand. That was only 5 years ago.
Mrs. Hansen. Great to see her back in the building and behind the wheel. Dials it in really well in that second outside. Whoa! And oh my gosh!
One of those moments you kind of wish your wheel would have broke.
All right, we are getting word on the radio she is okay.
Gets a little heavy. If there was contact.
Okay, there was contact. Make some noise for her, if you will. Shelley Hansen stepping out of her vehicle. That is a wild ride.
So I thought, oh, okay, he hit me probably because I wasn't matted, and then I'm upside down, and I'm like, how?
That had to have freaked you the hell out.
Well, I was in the spotter's tower, and her headphones came off of her helmet, so that was a little nerve-wracking.
If he would have hit me like the same angle, I would have just gone in the trench and just like everybody else, right, and just drove right out of it.
So at that point, I just sprinted out of there to see what's going down there. I was more just, I knew she was okay, like on a whole, but I was definitely concerned about her arms getting crushed.
And I was still a little shooken up. As much as you think you're fine, you still are a little shaky from something like that, just naturally. And
sometimes you do stuff and you're watching them do it, and they kind of fail again, and you're just like, why are we doing it? How long are they going to want to do this when you never can win for them? But they want to win too, right? So you're letting them down.
Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era.
Welcome back to the Circle of Drift podcast. I want to say thank you again for stopping in every single week for a brand new episode. The show is, of course, presented by SimHQ, where you can always save 5% off on your next upgrade with code Circle of Drift. Or if you're new here and have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, my name is Dawson, and here on the Circle of Drift, we interview some of the most interesting personalities within the industry to give you the best info and, I guess, opinions to help you get into drifting, essentially. So all I ask is if you do learn anything or find any entertainment out of these episodes, you go ahead and consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you're always updated with every single episode. And of course, hitting the like button, because that is the best way for me to know that you are enjoying the episodes. But today we are at Formula Drift back in St. Louis with Rudy and Shelley Hansen to hear a lot of their ups and downs through the season, not only this season, but previous seasons as well, and a lot of what they've learned just running a program, especially on a budget. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the episode. Here we are. We got a brand new face to the channel, and special one coming up after this too. So Rudy, how are we doing this weekend? We've got quite an event going on, a little unlucky weather-ish. It's kind of off and on.
I don't know if you call it unlucky. I think it's just standard weather for Formula Drift this season.
I guess that's fair, yeah.
It's going to be the year of the weather. I think this year has had obviously the most weather. It's I think it's right up on par with like the worst weather too, with like what we had in Jersey with the tornadoes.
Luckily, I wasn't at that one.
Oh my goodness, you'd have lost everything. It was
I'd have lost my ass.
It was so bad, and it happened like in such a moment's notice. They're like, on Discord, we're gonna have weather here, and like 2 minutes later, like people's like, I left immediately, and I got there, and every tent I had was down to the ground. I had, except for my big canopy, and luckily my crew chief like left a minute before me, and he's hanging on to it, getting lifted up in the air. So we saved the big canopy that I definitely couldn't afford to lose, but we probably lost $3,000 in canopies. I think about every team lost something.
Oh my God.
So it was bad. I think they said it was the worst one they've had.
Did the weather just like not expect it to be that bad, or what? How did nobody notice it?
I mean, they put it on. I think it was just traveling so fast. 70-mile-an-hour winds is 70 to 130-mile-an-hour winds, right? So it just come in. We just looked across the sky, just like across the interstate. We're like, okay, this looks bad. And Chris is like, I'm going back. And before I knew it, like 20 seconds later, it was just like full on. It came from like little teeny droplets to like 70-mile-an-hour winds in 10 seconds. So it was like, it came so fast. Fastest storm I've ever seen come. So tornado, I guess what they called it, like 3/4 of a mile at touchdown. So yeah.
Good God. Were you one of the cars that were lined up?
I was,
go
and I
on
pulled
grid?
out immediately. Like,
So
I've
you
had
got
it.
out unscathed.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've had our. I mean, I just can't afford for my canopy to get tore up, right? And like, we've had enough stuff that happened in Atlanta and stuff. I'm like, it's all hands. The minute you know it's coming, my wife's even more proactive than I am, and she's like, let's run. And so like we all know, like, get over to the canopy, right? So like Chris like beat me over there because he was on the motorcycle, but yeah, I just pulled out of line. I think I was one of the first or second cars to leave the line, and just ripped over there, and it was yeah, everybody's just it was like out of a movie. It really was. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking of having to like look after your things, obviously this year with the way economy is and everything, it's kind of tough to run an FD program. So like,
oh boy.
how stretched thin are you this year?
By far the most. Like, I mean, just my construction company, we usually are like, we're booked out like months, and this year we're just kind of taking it, you know, like job by job, honestly. So it's like you get home from the event, and it's like work to make enough money to get to the next event. So it's been tight. We're still getting it done though. Luckily, we have, you know, our sponsors that helped us out getting the car repaired after her rollover and some of the big wrecks. But ultimately, you know, all the real cash comes for the events, which, you know, is the biggest part of it. It comes from us and our construction company and our Airbnbs, and she's a fine arts painter, so we just got to go out there and hustle. But we're still getting it done, so we're just gonna keep on going. And if we have to do a few less laps during the weekend because we don't have money for tires, that's what we're gonna do. We just enjoy being here, and it's
That's
fun doing it
awesome.
together. Honestly, that's
How
probably
many
the best
hours
part.
a week are y'all working?
Well,
Just to afford all this.
You're right. I mean, like I just work full time, 60 hours a week probably, and then I have 3 employees that help me out. Obviously, they're great, so that makes it so we're doing stuff. So like, well, I'm still here. I still got money getting made, right? And then she sells art that helps make us money. And then we have our Airbnbs. So, you know, and then typically we have merch that we're selling, but like the last few rounds, it's just got like the weather's been so crappy. We haven't made hardly any money on merch, probably a third that we've made on the merch in the past. So
I feel that too.
that's been really hard, you know, like, and then she's driving, so she can't run the merch booth the whole weekend. So she'll have it set up typically, you know, during the pro day for a couple of hours in the afternoon because she's spotting for me too. So yeah, if you want
Y'all
to
are busy.
yeah, so if you want to come find our merch, come during like the pro day in between the top 16, top 32. She'll be over there selling our stuff. We have like a ton of cool stuff. It's just, if you don't have somebody that you trust to do it and can set it all up, and then, you know, luckily we didn't have it set up in Atlanta or Jersey. We'd have lost it all because all of that stuff was across the way too. So yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a nightmare. I saw so many people's stuff just getting torn up. But on the aspect of her joining FD, how was that like for you? Like what was going through your head whenever she was like, I got to do this now?
You know, honestly, it just came from we've done everything together. So like we just started, like, you know, originally we started mountain biking together, and we just would downhill mountain bike all over the country, and we enjoyed doing that. And then I started drifting, and then she's like, I want to drive. So then she started driving. We started sharing the car, and then after a while, I'm like, it was like an event that I would compete, and so she would be like, well, I don't really want to go all that bad. I'm not driving after a year of it, right? She wants to be sitting there watching every single event, right? So eventually, like one event, she's like, I'm not going. I'm going mountain biking. So I'm like, all right, it's time to get her a car. So I found her already had done a 240 that was already done. That was in the year you could get one with the LS and a dog box, already done, wrapped beautiful for 20 grand, right? Done.
I wish.
Right? So like I ripped up to Vegas and we picked her that car up. That was only 5 years ago. So we picked her that car up and had some problems with it the first few years just because the build wasn't just right on with us, the wiring and stuff. So anyway, we got that dialed in, and she started driving that and started having fun. We tandem, and eventually we're competing, and so like, all right, we're both there together, so let's have her start competing. And she started kicking butt doing that, and then before you know it, I'm like, we're traveling 2 different places for her to compete, and then I'm like, let's see if you can get your license. So like, then we're going, like last year we would do done with FD, and we would drive home, and then we would get home on a Tuesday, and we'd have to be loaded up on a Thursday to leave to go back to wherever they were, North Dakota, St. Louis, all the above. So we knew we wanted to just get her here so it could hopefully be easier. Now these weekends are crazier, but our other weekends are free.
That's good. Yeah.
So we have time to like kind of have a little bit of a life back, I guess. Maybe we can go boating or camping that we kind of put off to the side for the last 3 or 4 years, trying to get our license and doing everything that we've been doing.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
At least you get some extra free time to yourselves. So.
Yeah, I mean it was kind of taking it away, like, you know, like some of the like people who've been in it for a while, they're like, make sure you're having fun, right? And ultimately, like it when the fun's not there, like you're having fun, but if you don't have the rest of your life back, you kind of, after a few years, you're like, okay, I want some of my life back. And so like we're able to go do that and go do some boating and
At
stuff.
what point in your FD career did you like finally realize that?
More so last year, but it was also just, we were just so busy. We did, we were doing 40 plus 40 drive days a year, right? 40 to 60 depending on the year. And it was just like so overwhelming that you're just like, all right, it was a job some weekends. Some weekends you're excited, and the next week you're like, I'm done. I don't even want to go anywhere, and you have to. So then it changes like the mood of having to do it, right? Because you have it on the schedule. You've got to go to that event for her to get a license, or you got to go to that event because whatever, right? So that's, within the last 2 years it kind of did that, but and it still has those moments where you're just like, maybe you're just, but don't want to like leave for the weekend, but then you get there and you're like, all right, this is where I want to be. And then, or you get home and you're like home for 2 weeks and you're like, what am I doing? I want to be back at the racetrack, right? So sometimes it's just those back-to-back weekends, you're just like, I've had enough.
Where's you out, man?
Yeah.
Well, it's got to have helped the program in some sense, having an extra car involved, right?
Actually, it's done. I thought this wouldn't be as hard. Like I did double duty last year, and the double duty I thought would be the same. It's not. It's definitely twice. It's more work because now we're working on 2 cars. But what it has helped in the team is like she pushes me and she brings a different aspect to the table that I don't have, and I maybe bring something to her. And so like she has a coach that she's more analytical about the way she drives. She's more. I drive by the seat of my pants. She drives more methodical. So she brings something to the table and can explain it to me. And then she's also a spotter and up there. So like before it was like, let's just say maybe you don't trust exactly what you're saying because maybe she doesn't know it, but when she's driving better than you maybe for the weekend, you're like, all right.
If the action shows it, man.
Yeah, she's laying down sick laps, and she has a good coach, and she's roams her spotter, and she has good information. She's all the boys are scared of her, right? So like
they're scared to lose against you. They're taking all of y'all out. It's crazy.
Right? So then when she's telling you to do it, and it's awesome. I mean, we're now teammates. Before I didn't have a teammate. Now before it was just me trying to figure it out, and now I have a teammate, and the teammate, we bounce ideas off of each other. We have a game plan going in. Like even this morning, I woke up. I'm like, what do you got for notes for me? What did you learn? Like what should I do different here? And before I didn't have that. Before I just woke up in the morning. I'm like, all right, Mr. Hansen, in my head, what are we going to do this better, right? And nobody to bounce ideas. And she knows other people, and I know other people. Now we bring it together. Now we have like 10 heads into the game, whereas before it was just me and maybe 1 or 2 people I knew. So it's been actually a game changer for the whole team.
What information is she specifically bringing that has helped you with your driving? Since you are by the seat of your pants.
She's going on. She drives the sim. Olaf, her good friend Olaf teaches her a lot of stuff on the sim, and so like they talk about line choice and where to go, and like I never even thought about some of the things that they're talking about. Like as you leave the straight, it's a little bit downhill, and that side is a little lower than the other, so that one's going to gain more speed, and this one's going to catch you there, and then this will happen when you initiate. You're going to lose speed as you initiate, and then as you come back in, you're going to gain speed. And I never really thought about it that way. I just was like, okay, I need to be closer on the run up to make sure I'm not getting gapped, right? So all of those little details that they like when we walk the course. Okay, the course is off camber here, so you need to be you need to be paying attention. So because it is off camber, so a little more throttle control right there, right? And this corner has this, and so those are the things I like. She's just really like, let's just call women our investigators, right? So they're really good at it, and so she's like has all these little details. For me, I'm just like, all right, I keep going off right there. I guess I'll have a little less throttle, right? And whereas she's like, well, it's off camber, like, and it's a different surface. I mean, I'll notice the surface, but I wasn't even thinking some of the things that she brings to the table that her coach is just he's been a game changer too, and she talks to him every day with hers, and then I kind of get a suck from her what she's learning from him. So yeah.
Do you ever think it'll come to a point where, like, maybe you step aside and it's just her pushing it, or because like
Definitely
I
we-
know it doesn't seem like the economy is going to get any better. So
No, I mean, I think the economy it'll change. We have every like what is it, 8 or 12 years, the stupid economy flips, right?
right.
It'll be fine. But I think ultimately, like, if we can get, I mean, if she keeps driving like she is and keeps the progression like she's going, we can get a little more money. We can get a little more sponsors. She can continue to do it, and like I think she can. I know she can get Pro 1, and if we get to that point, like, there's always like the beginning of it for me was if I don't get to be Pro 1 driver, I want to be a crew chief, right? So going back to that, I have as much fun helping her on her days because and I bring something different that none of our teammates have. Like my crew chief doesn't have. He's not a driver, so like they don't understand some of the things she's going through in the car. So it brings a lot of joy to me to like help her out and know these things, like what she needs in the car, what's gonna make her better, and like between me and my crew chief Chris, like we like our cars have been phenomenal. We have never had an event where our car didn't make it to the line, right? So I know that with us as a team, we can do it, and I enjoy doing it. I mean, at some point, I don't think I'd mind stepping back and just doing that for her. It's really enjoyable, and like sometimes you do stuff and you're watching them do it, and they kind of fail again, and you're just like, why are we doing this? And I kind of feel that when like last season, I wasn't doing very good, and I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm letting everybody down, and maybe like in my head, like hopefully they still want to help me out, right? But when she's
I think
doing
your fight to come back every time
yeah, right.
is
But
the best part about it.
in my head though, I'm just like, how long are they going to want to do this when you never can win for them, right? Because they're there, they want to win too, right? So you're letting them down. But when she's there doing as good as she is, and the fight's there, and like they're still growing, it's super fun to just be there watching them succeed and helping them take it to the top. Because it's like Days of Thunder is like, that's my car, you know what I mean, right? And I know my crew chief and his brother David feel that way too right now. Like they're like, those are my cars, and like they're not, we built these, and they are like on track doing their thing, and are like, we have some of the fastest cars in the series right now. I've had a lot of the top tier drivers come up to me and like, dude, your car is fast, and that's pretty cool. That, I mean, like I've more than one, like the last event I had 4 drivers that were like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the series, like, dude, your car is fast. So like that's really that. I know that makes them feel good, and I know we got a good program. We just got to keep pushing, and we got a good method. We've been driving the sim a lot and working hard at it, and it's we go to bed.
It seems to be progressing pretty well this year. So
I mean, we go to bed thinking about it and wake up thinking about it, and it's part of our day every single day, all day long. Really, I work a little bit, and I come home and we work on programs or posts or partnerships, and then back to work again, and then she's doing like all of her stuff during the day too. So it's like it's all day long. There's never 10 minutes that goes by during my day that it's not part of it. I mean, I'll be at work with a customer, and I'll get stuff from the emails on like stuff I got to order, and I'll stop my other job and answer the question, and send it back out because we got to keep moving forward. No pressure. So yeah, I mean it's everything in our day right now, for sure.
Well, that's cool, man. It's cool to see the heart that you put in it, because like you mentioned, last year you didn't have the best run of it, and car got smashed a couple times, and you just keep fighting back. And I think realistically, that's all sponsors really want to see, in a sense, because whether it's a good or a bad outcome, you're still making a presence out of it.
Right.
So,
for sure.
As far as my angle, it looks like you're doing pretty well. So don't beat yourself up too much.
It's just really discouraging. Like the season we had the last year, it was really hard. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't get any results, and we're just kind of just stuck in this rut. Now we've got some stuff figured out on the car over the winter, and the car works much better. So I'm really happy for that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What type of game plan do you have moving forward the rest of the year, and seeing what you can make of it?
Game plan going forward. It's every round by every round, right? I get home and I'm like doing my work, and then I'm like, okay, next setup, right? But ultimately, like, we just have a couple play events. We're gonna go do the Togue in Utah, and a couple other play events to kind of to help like revitalize why we started doing it, right? Because that's why we started doing it. We'd go together, we'd have fun, we'd go to the events and party. We would like this fun portion of drifting was there, and that's why we started drifting, was because We were there, and we miss doing that together. Now we're not driving together anymore. So now we want to go to the jam events and drive. Like before I would go to the events, and I'm like, I'm not driving with you because when you spin out or whatever, when she was learning, we wreck each other. And then we have 2 cars to fix. How about you just go find a good driver and I go find a good driver, and the option of fixing 2 cars, it goes to 0. It's only going to be 1 car at one point, right? And so now we go to the events and I look around, I'm like, I don't want to drive with anybody else. Everybody else sucks. You know what I mean? So I just want to go jam with her. And so we have so much fun jamming. And she's, she's so good that like when we know each other now, we're not wrecking the cars. You know what I mean? Before we'd come away with, we smashed the cars pretty heavily, and I wouldn't say totaled them, but really bad wrecks together 2 or 3 times. And now we don't. We just like a couple little boops, a couple little door hits, you know what I mean? So
yeah, what was going through your mind when you flipped the car? That had to have freaked you the hell out.
Well, I was in the spotter's tower and her headphones came off of her helmet, so that was a little nerve-wracking because Rome's her spotter, and I don't have a headset on typically. I just kind of stand there. Otherwise, I'll kind of I'll say too much maybe on the radio, and I want her to focus with Rome, and her and Rome get along really well, and Rome's more analytical than I am, so that's why they work together better, right? And he's like trying to talk to her, and she's not answering. So at that point, I just sprinted out of there to see what's going down there. I was more I knew she was okay, like on a whole, but I was definitely concerned about her arms getting crushed. I mean, that's the biggest thing that people have happen, right? Is in such a small accident. I call it small because it wasn't like a 42 car flip, right? But the car's on its side and your arm could be out of there, right? And the arm restraints don't work that well.
No.
Yeah. Even when they're set on right, your arm can go out.
Yeah, I wore them at Drift Appalachia, and like you still have really good movement. It's not. Yeah.
So anyway, and then when I got down there, you could see that they weren't that panicked, and they were talking to her in the car when I got halfway across the track. So I'm like, all right. And then she's like, I'm all right. And then I get her out of the car, and I'm like, you could tell she was pretty panicked, but she was fine. I mean, like ultimately, I think she's a little stiff for the next week, but she's tough. That's why I married her. Like she's really tough. She did sled dogs and downhill mountain bike. She's one of the first girls to be downhill mountain bike and kicking butt, like hanging with all the boys. Like most of the girls, you're like, oh, your girlfriend's coming with us. Oh my gosh, we got to go slow today, right? No,
hey, that stuff's sketchy.
Yeah, she was shredding with all the boys. Like so, it was super fun to have her. Just we do everything together. That's why we started. That's why we're such a good team. Is like I don't have to leave her home. She's my best friend to go do it with. So she missed a couple rounds this year, and I'm like, I'm not having as much fun without you there. Like you're my teammate. You're my homie. I want to be there with you, doing these competitions because that's why we started. Is we were doing it together. It's not all about me just going and racing. Because I'm like, how long would I want to go do it? She's like, oh, you do it forever. I'm like, I get that, but I love doing it with her. So yeah.
Good, man.
So.
Well, whenever the time comes that she makes it up to pro and you'll have to battle each other in a championship or something, who's going to win?
Who's going to win? Well, it depends on, I mean, if I can get some, what's the word I'm looking for here? If I can just be a little, wow, can't even think of the word.
She's going to win. Got it.
She's going to win. I'm a little more rowdier, so if I can hold it together, like maybe not as good as Chelsea, right? But I'm kind of like the wild card. If I can link it together, it'll be fun, and she'll be just like her lap will be beautiful. So it's kind of like how we ski. It's true. She'll come down the hill skiing this beautiful little bunny set up, and it's just like she looks so perfect skiing down the hill, and I'll just come mobbing by her. And I'm out of control, skis are in the air, and I'm on it. But I'm down the hill first. So it's kind of funny how and it totally relates to how we drive. If I can link it together. Oh yeah, if I can link it together, my run is like half out of control. But if it all ends right, then it's probably a little bit better looking run. But hers, she's right on the. She's just very consistent. That's the word I was looking for. She's very consistent, and I just got to pull my consistency together. Yeah. So
you just got to adopt some of her analytical brain.
All right, we do it every time. She's like, calm down. But it's funny, the same thing she says to me, I say to a couple of my buddies that are out of control too. Jerry Johnson, right? I'm like, Jerry, woosah, come on, you got it, and you'll do it. So, yeah.
Oh, Sully's got a big problem with it too.
He does too, but you know, the funny story,
outdrives himself.
But the funny story is let's not call it bagging on him, but I'm like, he hits me every single time, blah blah blah, right? But then what does it do? It all comes together when he gets the event like he did. So it's like I watched a little video last night. It's like the guy who's crashing, wrecking, and driving over his head, he can dial it in and get a win. The guy who's just driving super slow, he can't dial it up. So hopefully that'll be the case. We can dial it down and get some consistency.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Who you got up?
Who do I have? Forsberg.
Oh, okay.
There's no
yeah.
easies, right, though?
Yeah.
Who else?
Not an easy one.
There's no easy ones, though. Who do you want? An easier one? You want Rome? You want Dimitri? Like, there's not.
That's fair, yeah.
You know, there's no easy ones. So yeah, everybody is there won something to get there, right? Or is a champion from their country. Everybody deserves to be there. Like, you know, Sully just got to top 4. Like everybody's there to do good, and they're all giving it their all. So it doesn't matter who you got. You're all gonna have to be on your A game.
We're all here to fight.
Yeah.
So. Cool,
yeah.
Man. Well, I don't want to hold you up too much longer. I know you didn't have much time, so
awesome.
I really appreciate it, and
thanks for
good luck out there, man. I hope you do great.
Yeah, me too. It'll be fun. Excited to just go drive. Drive hard. Have a good lead and have a good chase. It'll be fun.
Just putting a golf ball in the hole, right?
Right. Hole in one.
Easy as that.
Yeah, right. Easy as that. You only get one of those in your lifetime, but you know.
Yeah. There you go. Well, cool, man. I really appreciate it, and I guess let's get you on here.
Thank you.
Look, we got to stop the podcast for a second because I know we're going through a lot of tires out there, and given you're here supporting the podcast, they want to help you guys out and give you 20% off on your tires moving forward with code CircleOfDrift2. And on top of that, they're actually doing free shipping, which is just added to your cart. So if you're going to need tires soon, or maybe you just never tried the Zec Novas, or you just kind of want to stack up, I suggest you do that now while you can get them at a better price. But other than tires, let's get on back into the podcast. All right. Well, again, like I mentioned, brand new face to the channel. We have Shelley.
What's up?
You guys have asked for her. So, yeah, how are
Really?
you doing
Thank
this
you.
weekend?
I'm doing so good. I feel like I leveled up. A lot of drifting is just counting on those small wins, and they just be stacking.
Explain the small wins for anyone that's like doesn't
for
understand
the
what
weekend?
you mean, because you've had some not so wins as well recently too.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, what I mean by small wins is sometimes it's really easy to always look at what you're doing wrong, right? And sometimes when you do that, it's really discouraging, and you kind of just start snowballing down that whole hill of that, and drifting can be a lot of strikes and gutters.
Ain't that the
So
truth?
if you kind of switch the peripheral on that, and you start looking at what are you doing well? Like, what did I do well today? And then you're like, yeah, I did do that pretty good. And then you start focusing on what you do well. Then it kind of builds your confidence up, and then you go into the next event more on like with the mindset of what am I going to do today to get better versus like, oh, what did I do wrong? And then and thinking in that mindset. So small wins, like for example, DJ Stubb said he was really sad about losing in his top 32 with Chen, and I'm like, dude, and Chen ended up winning, right? So you got to say to yourself, like, you had a killer battle, right? And FD even made a post about it. Like, that's another small win.
Still got wins, yeah.
Like, it's so easy to be sad, but it's like, it's okay. Like, this is part of the process. Like, you're gonna have moments where they look like failures, but in the end, it's like, it just makes it that much sweeter when you do well. So
How do you keep such a level head?
I meditate. I'm a meditator. I definitely I don't know. I just always, I guess since I was a baby, my family called me Smiley because my brothers would try to push my head down and I'd just pop up smiling. So I guess that's just how I was born. So.
Gotcha. Okay, well, obviously you've started making quite a name for yourself in FD this year. So, but further back, I know we talked with Rudy a little bit. What was the gateway for you to drifting, and why did you choose to pursue it so heavily?
It started out with more Rudy starting to drift. I think he drifted for a couple of years before I even got in the car. I think Drift Week 1 was really when I got in the car really the first time. And that was in the Corvette before it burned down. And then Luke
Oh my
Fink,
God, I forgot about that. Holy
yeah,
shit.
I got to do a little bit of donuts and figure eights and stuff like that there at Drift Week. And then Luke Fink ended up giving us or selling us the G-Banger for like a great deal, and I just stepped right into that car, and it's super aggressive. You have to drive so aggressive. Those cars, everybody knows that you gotta really manhandle those cars, and really that car taught me quite a bit. And then I stepped into Honey Butter. We would share a car because we only had one car trailer. And like one, a truck that could really only pull one car at the time. So either I had to pull my own car, which I would do if it was like a 3-5 hour drive. But after that, we would just share a car if it was a further drive. And we were in Idaho, so everything's a drive. But at least we're like centrally located. So going east and going west or north or south is a little easier. So that's why that's why we're everywhere, because everyone's like, "How are you everywhere?" And I'm like, we're central, so it's not as discouraging to be in California and go, oh, I'm gonna go to Florida today, for this event, right?
Yeah.
But if you're in Idaho and you're like, okay, we'll go to California. It's a day drive. We can do that, So.
Well, obviously you're learning, and Rudy mentioned you're very analytical. So when you are first trying to drift and learn the basics of it, what were you processing in your head going around each lap?
I grew up in the mountains and driving on snow and dirt roads, and
Oh, so you're just used to it.
yeah, absolutely. I used to mush sled dogs.
Tell me a little bit about that real quick, because I know nothing about that shit.
So my family, part owned a dog sledding company with a racer who runs the Iditarod, the Bear Grease, the Yukon Quest, like big long distance dog sled racing. And called me up and was like, hey, we need a musher for Christmas to come down and run tours, because they do tours to pay for racing, right? So kind of like how we'll do demos to help us pay for our racing, right? So I came down to help for the holiday, and I just didn't go home. I just stayed there, and I fell in love with dog sledding. And it's all about momentum. So you have 12 to 14 dogs, sometimes 16 dogs in front of you. And it's all about momentum and fluidity, and using that momentum to, not die and go off a cliff, and, because you're going through the mountains. So I dog sledded in Wyoming mainly, in Idaho. But yeah, it's quite a sport that takes a lot of courage, because you're out in the middle of nowhere, and that was before I even owned a cell phone, because I'm a little older now. So that was in my 20s, and I didn't have a cell phone, and I was taking people out into the wilderness and doing like 3-night trips,
Holy
and
shit.
I would take them to a yurt, and I'd have to hack open the creek and get water and melt snow and make them breakfast and poo-poo them and take care of them. And it was a lot of work, man. And I would take people, and sometimes guys would come up and be like, well, I'm not going with you. You're a girl. I'm not going with you. And I'm like, all right, I'll give you to the green musher. I'll give you to someone that might kill you, but if you don't want to come with me, that's fine. But little did they know, yeah, I kind of ended up running like all the other mushers for a little bit, but I really enjoyed that part of my life. But I think that fluidity and taught me a lot about momentum, translated into drifting and growing up in the mountains and driving on the snow and skiing. It's all really like skiing, riding a bike. It's all really the same, right? Like if you're going to go off a jump and you break, you die. You're going to throw yourself into a wall on a bank. If you break, you die. Same thing. So it's just like, you got to commit. You got to get that courage and say, I'm either going to go out there and I'm going to drive as hard as I can and I'm going to not break, or I should just turn my car around and go home. So that's my theory.
That's crazy that dog sledding has any relation to drifting, but I guess, yeah, momentum.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I
A
would
lot
have never
colder, though.
expected that. Well, yeah. You don't have to do it. Well, ice drifting, same difference,
I do,
right?
yeah, I do. Well, yeah, I have a heater, though. It's nice.
fair.
Well, in my car, warm.
Yeah. Well, as far as your car, what all did you have to do to prep that car for Formula Drift specifically?
Oh, for after rolling it, or just?
No, just in general, when you first came, because it wasn't that elaborate to begin with, right?
No, so that's Rudy's. I'm driving Rudy's old pro car. And
That's
then we
right,
built
okay.
Bad Girlfriend, which is the new car.
God,
So, and we just finished it. He drove my car in Long Beach.
it's too many S
That's why you see the FDF hood piece, because
okay,
that was
yeah,
me. Because I'm
yeah.
like, that's sick. I saw that on Tommy Lemaire's car, and I'm like, I want that. I want that. So I got that, because I'm good at getting what I want. And then, so that's the way you guys can tell our cars apart. Because I heard through the grapevine that Rudy wants to drive my car at Long Beach again. because we are probably going to take it apart and maybe reshell it,
Oh.
which I have a shell over here that my friend brought me. So,
Oh, look at that.
But with my record, I'm like, should we? Should we reshell it? I
At
don't know.
Long Beach of all?
But it is really twisted. Like, it's pretty, the frame's pretty twisted, so it could
My
use it. And then, so we were kind of discussing, you know, if his car is good and safe and he wants to take my car to a new track with a lot of walls isn't a bad idea. So, and I'm fine with that. So, you know, he builds them. I just hand him the tools and do all the pretty things on them. So.
I deal with the aesthetics.
Yeah. You know, when you're going as hard as we are all the time, the best thing to do is to just give everybody the jobs that they're really good at, because if you do that, then shit just gets done, you know, and that's the most efficient way. And people typically are really good at, you know, 1 to 5 things really well. And if you just like put them in their element, and they'll just get that job done. And if there's something they don't really like doing and somebody else likes to do that, give the person who likes to do that job. And like Chris, he'll always like start doing my jobs. I'm like, what are you doing my jobs?
off,
This is my
bro.
job. You go do the job I can't do, you know? Like, you go do motor things. Like, I don't know motors. So you do motor things, I'll do Shelley things, you know, stickers and
Yeah, all the
Bondo.
pretty girl stuff.
Yeah, stuff like that. So
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about that? Like, because we got Colette and a bunch of women in drifting now, or
Yeah.
especially Formula drifts. How do you like the balance, and how do you think it's being treated? And you seem to be getting bullied nonstop every event. So
no.
I want to hear your perspective.
I don't think I'm getting bullied. I think I just came in and everybody's gonna have to step it up a little bit.
Ah.
And that's what happens when you got somebody hard to go against. You're like, all right, I got to be on them from the beginning, like. And that, you know, not everybody's used to driving that hard. And when you drive that hard, you're going to mess up a little bit the first few times, and that's just normal.
Do you think it might be somewhat of an advantage, though? Like, because I feel like there are some guys in the field that are just so stubborn and don't want to lose against a girl.
Oh, I think for sure. I think that is a benefit. Because they probably get a little more nervous than they would, and maybe it changes it up, right? Like for me personally, when I go against a girl, I get more competitive. So sometimes I'm like, I gotta think of this guy as a girl. Sometimes, like mentally, I'm like, because I'll drive harder, which is weird, because I'm not a super competitive person, but I guess I am at some points. It comes out. But I think with drifting, honestly, it's like a balance of really just like keeping your head straight and really like focusing on what the next task is. So when I pull up, I usually just do some breath work that I enjoy, that just gets me calmed down, because sometimes I find myself just holding my breath a lot. So if I just breathe a little bit and try not to breathe in too much of fumes from other cars, that'll mess with me a little bit. But if I just focus on the task at hand, so what's the first task? The first task is the initiation. And if you can nail the initiation, then the rest of the track just comes naturally.
I've heard a lot of drivers say that. So have you found that to be the most helpful, especially going into the Jurassic tracks that we have with all the walls and stuff? Like, is that the key to it? Like, as long as you can get past initiation?
Walls are great because you can see where the track is, you know? It's the flipping cones that I can't see.
That's
fair.
fair.
You know, I'm like, put a wall up. I'd way rather a wall than cones, because especially at night, like I can't see very like depth perception isn't as good at night, but sometimes it's all about finding your visuals too. So for me, I always have like some little marker out there that I start talking to, and I'm like, oh, there you are. Okay. You know, I'm going to come get you. So, so it's all about like, look, you know, you go where you're looking. So it's just, if you have your markers and your visuals set and you do your I visualize a lot before I drive. And I just go through the run in my head of how I want to do it. And it ends up, maybe that's why I'm really consistent.
Yeah. What are you doing for initiation here? Because they obviously took away that
Sure.
K-rail wall on
Mhm.
initiation, I assume because of Adam.
Yeah.
grinding
A lot
the
of
wall.
things. Yeah,
But
Kelsey.
anyways, yeah.
That was scary.
Would you have
yeah.
preferred that to still be there?
Not K-rail, but the proper
You-
wall, like a nice flat one, would have been fine with me. Yeah, absolutely. I think it will probably come back next year. Probably a flat wall, taking for what we did to their track this weekend. You saw how IDB did last night, and just barely rolled off the curb and kissed the dirt and just ripped my tire off. And I had that sucker. I had him.
Is
I
that dirt
had 'em.
drop as harsh as it feels in the sim? Because as soon as I drive it in the sim, as soon as I dirt drop, my car's
yeah,
gone.
yeah,
There's no
so
way to get
slippery.
back on track.
It's really actually pretty similar. I don't let off, so in the sim you don't feel in the sim if you dirt drop you probably don't feel the rollover kiss, but you feel the dirt drop and then you're off, right? Same thing here. I didn't go off so much that it really unsettled. Well, I did in chase one time, but I just kept it pinned and I got right back on. That was at the beginning, but it seemed like the middle to the end is really where it's eating people. So if you go off there, that's what I'm really gonna communicate with Rudy today, is to really be cautious in that zone, because we had a couple hold your breath moments last night with Human and Cole Richards. So that's a dangerous spot. So you guys all don't go off there. That's a no-go zone. That's a no-fall zone right there.
You don't think it'd be a little more dangerous being a wall there, though?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'd way rather just bounce off that thing than get flipped.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the flip, tell me your perspective. How did it,
okay.
What went through your head going through that?
All in all, it was super confusing. So I was coming around that. I was on heaters. I was ready to win seating. I don't know if y'all saw, but my practice was on point, and I was just driving like I was just meant to be there. And what happened was Carson, I think he just had a little miscommunication with his team on his setup, and unfortunately, Carson and I are good friends. There's no bad blood with any of these boys. Everybody,
Let's make sure
you go back
she's
to the
okay.
whole girl thing. I feel
let's make
like
sure she's
we're all
okay.
homies. We're family. There's nothing that there's never been a day ever in FD or in drifting where I haven't felt anything but support and kindness and love from all the guys here. So that's being said. But going back to the rollover, he just came in. I thought he hit me at the same angle. Typically would be the situation, right? Because I came through there right on that white line. So I was just doing a little bit of this because I had to really stay on that track.
Mm-hmm.
And then just in that moment, so I thought, okay, he hit me probably because I wasn't matted. And then, but I thought he hit me like this, so I floored it because I'm like, I'll just get back on the drag strip and just finish her out, right? And then I'm upside down, and I'm like, how am I upside down? This is wild. And then the thoughts of my car, I'm like, oh, this is not good situation to be in right now.
So is you flooring it is what gave the car enough momentum to flip? Or
So
was it
the way
just a
he hit me,
pothole?
because if he would have hit me the same angle, I would have just gone in the trench and just like everybody else, right? And just drove right out of it. But because he straightened and punted, and he hit me pretty good. It was a forceful hit.
Oh.
He hit me so it really shoved the rear of my car into the trench sideways, and then I was flooring it. So then it dug in even more, but instead of hitting the trench like everybody else, I hit it sideways, and so it just caught in that hole, and then it dug more and then flipped me.
Snagged your wheel.
But
Come
my
on.
mirror ended up folding in and turning my car off, which was really cool. Because I right after I came to, I just turned my car off and it was already off, and I was like,
What the fuck?
God, do you love me today? So I was
You
like,
almost killed me, but saved me at the same time.
Yeah. What is this lesson? But no, it's just stuff like that happens. I mean, we all know. We've all done it. We've all pulled handbrake on low angle and straightened and hit the wall. You know what I mean? It's just part of growing as a driver. And there was no malicious in it at all. And he was trying to do his best with the setup that his car was having that day. And I was trying to do my best. And we just had a oopsies. And it's not about thinking about what happened. It's thinking about, okay, what are we gonna do to drive next? And darn, Kevin wouldn't let me compete anymore in seating. which I could have, but he was, he's probably right. Kevin's a pretty smart dude. And I was still a little shooken up. As much as, you think you're fine, you still are a little shaky from something like that, just naturally. And so it's probably better that I didn't drive till the next day, but it wasn't scary or anything to me at all. The only thing was my head, my halo pinched in because the side of the track is kind of a ramp. And so it was in this carbon fiber. So it's kind of, it's not like super stiff. So it was kind of pinching my helmet. So I'm upside down and they undo my belt and then I just fall into my helmet more. And I'm like, I can't get my head out. And I have a lot of hair, so I had to get quite a bit. And so that's why it took me a minute to get out of there. But I also was okay. And I just was kind of collecting myself before getting in front of a crowd, because it is really hard to know that your driving might be over for the weekend, especially when you are really feeling good. And in that moment of, being the first battle of the weekend and everything, it's just collecting yourself and knowing that your weekend might be over is probably the hardest part. And then to get out and be, wave and be nice and show that you're happy when you're really crying inside.
I will say, from a spectator perspective, it was nice to see that you actually got out, acknowledged the crowd, did all that. You didn't throw a helmet or be childish, like no names, but some people do. And it was really cool. And I'm glad that we got to see that instantly. You were okay. It made the show feel better for one, with such a traumatic incident. But so the whole time you were just kind of numb to the situation of what was happening, or did no freak out ever set in that day?
Well, like Rudy was telling you earlier, they were trying to get a hold of me on the radio. So I'm like down here trying to use my long fake nails, trying to grab the cord again to get the radio plugged back in, but my head was stuck. So I was trying to get that done. And then by the time Rudy got there, I ended up getting it in and I'm like, I'm okay. So
that's so crazy.
No, I was fine. I just needed a moment. I wasn't in a hurry to get out. Nothing was on fire. And there was no reason to get out. I mean, I can hang out upside down for a little bit, it's okay. But I just want to say thank you to Kevin and the fire crew and the FD crew for taking such good care of my car. They could have just rolled that thing right over and broke $5,000 worth of damage, and I do not have in my budget after my first wreck already in Atlanta to really have that. And so shout out to FD, because he took exceptional care of my car when turning it back over, and when I was in the ambulance and I wasn't there to make sure everything was going good. So I appreciate that.
I've seen videos of him trying to load a car up, and he'll yell at people for say, hold on, nope, we're not damaging this car anymore, they need to get back out, or I don't want to be the reason they can't. So that's I wish they would show more of that on the live stream.
Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to say something, because that's the part of FD you maybe don't see, and the guys behind it, like Logan and Max, like all those guys that are they're my fist bump before I go out. They're those guys that are like, the last one you see before you go out there, and it's just like you build this relationship with these guys, and they're all awesome, and you learn things about them, and a lot of them are there not even getting paid. So it's like they're here, they don't even get to see a battle. They're just like breathing fumes and doing it, we're like we are. We're here because passion. Or addiction, I don't know, or one of the
both.
Yeah.
But well, you did mention obviously the heartbreak starting to set in of maybe the car wouldn't be okay. So what have you explained what all damage did actually happen from that one crash?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like I had more damage in Atlanta, but this one was still pretty expensive. All in all, like my throttle body was munched pretty good. Everything is scratched and not pretty. But I do run KBD, which, not a lot of pro drivers want to run it because it's a little heavier. But honestly, I run the front and the rear, and it's just like so worth it. It is so worth it because my car always looks dope. I'm always having a bumper on. I could run over a dead body and that thing would look just like it did before I ran over the dead body. So it's like, you could run over tires. Somebody can debeat in front of you and they'll just spit it out. So shout out to KBD for that and saving me a lot of time on repairing a bumper and money. Like I would be so in debt with bumper budget if it wasn't for them. And then also
it'll last your whole season.
Yeah.
Unlike all these guys with fiberglass, they got stacks of bumpers in their garage. It's
Yeah,
stupid.
so wasteful. So
How dare
wasteful.
you?
You should start recycling. So yeah, throttle body munched. I broke a lower A-arm in the rear Y-fab, which is
Oh,
like
wow.
you never break. So that was funny. Which I had to spare because you never break it. And then let's see. My intake pipe was pretty damaged, and actually that's kind of funny story. So we were at we were in E-Town, so Chris Knapp is awesome. He lets us use his shop, and he had a silicone. Nobody had like a 90 that I needed to make sure everything would fit right. So, but he did have a silicone one, and I was like, okay, sweet. I really want to run my hood, because it just looks better. Like drifting is all about really like style and looking good. So, and for me, it's really important to have all my body panels on. So I really was trying to do that. But then I went out for warm up, and I would have power, and then I had no power right after the entry, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I had George from Link ECU come over and diagnose things, and he did a little bit of this.
Little keyboard tappies.
And then I'm on the phone with Rome. So between Rome and George, we figured out the issue that it was collapsing, which I feel like, yeah, duh, right? But you're like, you're at warm up, and I'm like second battle, right? So I'm like, I gotta,
Yeah.
you're not thinking super straight. So it's really good to have people who are like chill and calm and can figure that out for you. And then second, we swap that. Trevor Roots comes up to me, goes, his spotter goes, well, you're struggling, and we didn't think you were going to get out there. And then you just laid down a total heater. And I'm like, right, because thank you to all the guys in Prospect too, because they let me cut the line. Because I wouldn't have got that heater in and like one lap in to really like feel good about my car, make sure I'm going to be safe going out there against the walls and stuff. So that was really cool. They let me cut them line and get that lap by myself. And so that was fun. Kind of threw off the boys a little bit. And they're like, oh, no, she's back. And that was just the hiccup. I mean, my team's awesome, dude. My husband is totally like, he's made for like crew chief greatness, I swear. He's like, it's like his destiny to be like, a crew, he's just so good at it. He can think fast, he can fix anything with nothing. And then we got Chris, who's just like, he keeps the cars just maintained so well. Like they just rip and rip and rip. Every time I get in there, the car, I'm just, I go in the burnout box and I'm like, what? I'm like, it's just so perfect. Cause I didn't, this is the first time I've driven this car this fast. Like I run my Pro-Am in my car that makes 440. And it's really not super reliable, but it's becoming more reliable as I drive it, as I fix it. But yeah, like it's Atlanta was my second time really driving it. So I mean, but first time on a track. I only drove it in Utah at Burt's Motorsports Park, just in a paddock just to test a little bit before Atlanta and get a feel for the car. But honestly, I did like the second lap in that car, and I was like, oh, it was almost like Avatar, where they take like the tail and they like connect it to their hair or whatever it is. And I'm like, yep, okay, yep. When two become one.
So are they? You hear a lot of people say that FD cars are not as easy as they look to drive. So is that?
Oh no, this thing's freaking. It drives itself. I'm just hanging on. I'm like, it's like getting on a wild Mustang. You're just hanging on the tail.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, I've always wondered because like you'll hear like Denofa say that, or James Dean, or whoever it is.
Well, those RTR cars look
like,
a little tougher to drive.
I was about to say RTR.
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get it. Those cars are a different animal, but like majority of the FD feel like it's just a higher horsepower drift car. I don't see what the complication.
Well, honestly, I get it, because I think when you get to the pro level, there's maybe when you get to the top 10 is really when you need to start taking risks and tweaking your car to maybe be a little like, if you're James Dean, dude, you're gonna be he can drive anything. That guy is an animal. Like he can tweak his car so that it's an advantage, right? But somebody like me, I couldn't drive a car like that. I'd be terrified, right? I just don't have that skill level yet. But for me, going into Pro Spec was, let's make the car easy to drive. Let's fill the zones. Let's do what the judges want us to do, and then we'll start we'll start modifying things as I progress and get better, and I'm capable of driving because, number one rules, look good. Number one, two is, be safe, so you want your car working good so that you're safe and you're not flipping cars over, taking people
Let's
out.
not do that one again.
So, yeah, I mean, that's really important. It's my responsibility to go out there and not totally wreck somebody too. So, like, it's, there's a fine line of, like, knowing driving within your means of, maybe you have the loss, so you just drive within your means and learn how to get better. But you don't, it's not worth going and really hitting somebody and taking them out of the show, over just because you're trying to catch up to them or something. It's like, it's just part of respect on the track and respect for other drivers, because we all know how much time and money it takes to fix these cars, and we're all just doing our best and, just to survive.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, speaking of that, you've obviously been in the FD realm and now doing it your own self driving. What would you say to someone that is looking to get into FD and go down this entire road? Because it's more of a headache than
Yeah.
people expect. And like, there's obviously
That's
more
just life
variables
in
that you
general.
need to look out for, right?
Oh, absolutely. I have a few things I would say, which I have said to people, is you need to load up your drift car. And if you live in California, you need to drive all the way to Florida, or even not even that far. Maybe go to Colorado, like start doing trips that are at least 15-hour plus trips away, and where you drive for a day and get a feel for that, because that's FD. And you're going to be driving sometimes 2 days, and it will test your trailer and the car that pulls your trailer, and you can get all those wiggles out before you get here. The first thing I would do even before that, though, or during the same time, is try to get on a team working for free, and just try to get as many events with a team that you can.
That real quick, what is the easiest job to get a hold of here at FD?
The easiest job?
Yeah.
Probably with race treads.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So if you can change some tires, or if you can, it's super easy to learn. Hop on with race treads. You're just here. You're figuring out the schedule. Like it's a lot to absorb coming into FD. But even if you can't get on a team and you just come spectate and come early, come the day before and walk around and talk to drivers and see how everybody's doing stuff. But a lot of it is figuring out where to be and when and how to do this and what day to come in and where to stay and how to feed your team. And, there's a lot of logistics that goes into it, and props to these guys that do it all themselves, like that don't have wives to help them. And it's a lot of work. I mean, the managing and being a driver it takes a lot of time and out of your day every day leading up to it. And it's a full-time job. Really, it is a full-time job.
Would you suggest it?
Yeah. If you know in your heart you're meant to be here, then it's gonna work out for you. It's just literally waking up early and getting to work right away, and asking a lot of questions and putting yourself in the space, and it will come naturally at that point.
I love that. Well, cool. Well, the last question I want to ask you, you seem like the right person for it.
Sure.
I don't ask it all the time no more.
Sure.
But if you had the opportunity to speak to the entire world, what would your one message be?
Oh, to the whole world? Man, don't say stuff online that you wouldn't say to somebody if they're sitting right in front of you.
I'm right there with that. I love that.
Yeah, and try not to talk shit, because I'm bad at it too, but every day I'm like, okay, put those thoughts aside if you get angry at somebody, and just focus on yourself. Focus on and do your thing. Let people be them, do their thing. We're all doing our best. We're all going to suck sometimes, and we all just have to forgive and love and forget, right? Move on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, cool. You want to shout yourself out or any sponsors or anything like that?
I'm Shelley Hansen. That's about it. Married
Forgot
to
to
Rudy.
ask Rudy too, so
but
maybe cover his.
He's Rudy Hansen 119 on Instagram. We're pretty old, so we don't do all the things, but a little bit. I'm trying. And I got we got Facebook. We have a YouTube. It's just Rudy Hansen. But we're not. I need to post more on there. But like I said, we'll get there because he is quite entertaining, especially at home. I feel like it's just the time of editing and getting it done right.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I also really like our privacy. So being here and at FD and seeing everybody's very social. And when I go home, I really like to just be by myself. I like to go on hikes and I like to ride my bike and I like to have a lot of alone time because I actually enjoy hanging out with myself and with my husband. So we are kind of private people. So in the way it kind of works that way. So there's not a lot on our YouTube, but yeah, follow us on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok if it exists anymore. And we're just Team Hansen drifting. Google us, we're there.
There you
but
go.
yeah, we have a lot of cool merch. I really enjoy making merch for kind of we kind of have like the underground merch scene. So check us out. I have a website and everything. It has our schedule. We keep up to date on that. And we work with a lot of really great sponsors that offer you guys a lot of discounts, and it's all on our website. So take advantage of that.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
miss out on discounted parts. Ain't no reason to pay full price. Jesus, I can't talk
No reason
already.
to pay full price. We got racer discounts to help you guys out. So take advantage of those.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I will let you get back to it. I really appreciate your time. Thank you
yeah.
for coming over and
I
just
appreciate
chatting it
it.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
go help him get a win. Oh, I forgot to do that part. Whoops. I ain't done that in forever. Holy shit. What another great episode this week. And obviously, if you made it this far, you're one of the OGs of the podcast, or maybe you're a new one. So thank you for sticking around this long. If you did enjoy it or learn anything new out of the episode, I just ask that you consider subscribing and turning on the bell notifications. But other than that, don't forget we do have merch on the site, circleofdrift.co.
Stay way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want 4, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want, I can teach her. Whole life a movie, you can watch it in theater. Stay